You don't lose emotion when you simplify a portrait. You lose it when you overwork it. Look at these Matisse portraits. Here he's using a technique called flattening. This week we'll be using this portrait by Matisse, Marguerite, as an inspiration. We'll talk about flattening, simplifying, painting with a limited color palette, and we'll learn why flattening can help us create simplified but very dynamic and expressive work. And instead of painting directly from Matisse's original painting, I'm going to be using this vintage photograph. I'll link in the description box below to both Matisse's original and this photograph. For Matisse and Derain, flattening wasn't a lack of skill, but a way of expression. The Fauves used strong line, flattened figures, and color to express emotion rather than represent reality. If you're still struggling to find your style or trying to understand how to work with the skills that you already have, this exercise should help you because the goal today is to experiment and have fun. And since flattening simplifies things, you can concentrate on strong line and color to portray emotions. We'll be working with a limited palette and color mixing from just the primaries today. Today we'll be working on 140-pound watercolor paper, and I'll be using just the primary colors. I'm using Payne's Gray as my blue, Cadmium Yellow Light as my yellow, and Cadmium Red Deep as my red. I'll be using some Titanium White and some Ivory Black. And in the center of my palette, I'm just going to be putting a little matte medium for mixing and flow. I have the Marguerite painting and the photo reference pulled up side by side on my laptop, and I have them linked in the description box below where you can download them if you want to paint along. Here I'm just using a little matte medium and mixing the black paint with it to get a bold graphic line, which is like a mainstay of these flattened portraits. And I'm holding the brush way back so I have less control and I get a more expressive line. So the common thread when we're first painting is just like finding that personal style. And most of the time it's because we're chasing expectations or other people's idea of what we should be painting. Don't get caught in that trap because you should be painting to express yourself and not for someone else's approval. Even here, when we're using an exercise like learning from the masters, we're just taking an exercise where they simplified things by using the concept of flattening, and we're using that like a tool. And then if you like any part of that exercise, you can bring a piece of it into your own practice. And that's what we're doing because they have so much to teach us about color, composition, and all kinds of things. And that's why we expose ourselves to these concepts. Here I decided I loved the name on the painting, so I added my own. And no, that isn't her real name. I just made one up. Alice. I'm going to explain how I mix these colors. All right, I'm going to do the flesh tones, and I start with the yellow first. I add a little bit of red until I get an orange. And when I have a nice orangey color, I'm going to add just a little tiny bit of blue, which is the Payne's Gray in this case, until I get a rich brown color. And when I have the brown, I will begin to add white into it until I get a creamy beige color. This is for my face and my flesh tones. And when I have that creamy beige, then I'm going to add a little bit more white and make very light value for my lightest lights. Then I come into the back of that brown and I'm making a darker value. So now I have 4 values. I decided it was a little too blue. That's why I just mixed a little bit of the other primaries into it, and then I have my color palette, and I added just a little bit more of the pure yellow. So for the fauves, the beauty of the flattened plane was to remove the distraction of the 3D depth. And so they didn't use a lot of values. Now, I did create 4 values, and it's more in keeping with my particular style, which is to flatten a small amount in my regular work. I do use flattening as part of my particular style, because I do that in my contemporary painting, and just because I like the way it looks. So I'm using very subtle values in this painting. So I go in first with the very lightest values, all the places I know the light is going to hit, the tip of the nose, the chin, the top of the forehead, and then I'm going in with kind of subtler values. I'm not creating a lot of volume with the values I'm using. And if I feel like they're too dark, I just go over them with a little bit of the lighter value and I soften them. So you can see me doing that with all the colors I've mixed up from just the 3 primaries and the white I created tints. And the only dark I'm using at this point is the Payne's Gray. When we look at an activity or an exercise like working from the masters, I want to give it to you in the context of being able to take it and use it as a place to freely play. I don't mean play in a careless way or play in a childlike way. I just mean doing it without a sense of expectation or obligation, releasing any sort of attachment to the end result, and trying not to achieve anything other than the act or process of painting itself. When we do exercises like the one I'm sharing today, we can do a small series, and we already have everything set up. We've got our painting that we're working from. We have our limited palette that we're already used to, and then we can kind of get used to mixing those colors in different ways. What kind of greens can we create? What kind of oranges? What type of greens and purples? Will this combination of red and blue make a nice purple, or does it come out kind of muddy? Those things will change every time you change your primary colors, and it's interesting to learn what the colors you have on your palette that particular day will mix. You can create like a short series on paper, or you could do it in your sketchbook. You can use just a variety of photographs that you found, either black and white, or you can start moving into a little bit of color and seeing how to flatten those photographs. It's a little bit easier with the black and white ones, but you might want to push yourself a little bit. Always push yourself to go a little bit faster than you're comfortable with, because you'll make better, more intuitive choices when you're moving just a little bit faster than you're comfortable working. The best way to improve with your painting is just stay present while you're painting. Engage with the work while you're working, and just stay detached from the end result, and just be engaged with the painting process and allow yourself that time to play and really explore your medium and the way you want to express yourself and the way you want to express your emotions. And you will find your way with painting. So stay playful and don't avoid experimentation. Get in your studio, play, experiment. If you're still feeling stuck or overwhelmed or unsure, just remember that what comes out of our experimentations is always far more important than any kind of a rigid idea of what we might have for an outcome. When our paintings become about expression, they become honest. The thing I most hope for everyone is that their painting practice gives you permission to experiment, to play, to express yourself. It's far more important than any image you might create. As always, keep painting, keep practicing, and come again soon.